Hey guys, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live right now on YouTube. As per the usual, I don't have my usual backdrop with the Disability Resolution logo or the Space Constitution logo because I'm in New Jersey working away to go ahead and fix up the family farm for sale. Now, with that said, I'm still here. Hopefully you can hear me just well. We're going to be getting this started. It is 8:13 p.m. We are starting about 13 minutes late, but nonetheless, here we go. I've started to see senators, and I just watched a video with Rick Scott in it. I watched another video where I saw senators chatting a little bit on topic about it. The main issue that we're seeing is that, and I don't know if it's a threat tactic or if it's one of these tactics where the senators that are on the right side of the fence are trying to get the Democrats to look bad about the left side of the fence, but it's starting to come up that essentially senators are very concerned on the right side about a requirement for those who are on disability benefits to have a COVID vaccination shot in order to continue to receive their benefits. So, right off the bat, I just want to put you at ease that I don't know what the legal answer is. I know that requiring a vaccine shot for children is something that the government has openly done. Requiring a vaccine shot for adults, extremely rare and usually unconstitutional. But with that said, I want to make you guys aware the way the legal system works is that it kind of takes a while to fight something. Something like this might have to go to the Supreme Court. So let me give you some basic timelines on what would happen here. Let's say that the current administration, whether they had good reasons or not, passed something that said, hey, there would need to be a vaccine for you to go ahead to be received, for you to go ahead and receive your benefits. A lot of people would be very upset with that, but a lot of them would go ahead and say, okay, fine, I'll get the vaccine to be able to survive. Some would say, absolutely not. You'd see a lot of that going where you have essentially individuals who are married and have some other form of income. But there's going to be a lot of people who don't have that and they're just stuck. They've got to either take the vaccine or become homeless. So I wanted to go through what would happen. So first thing that would happen is, howdy Gary Dwayne, howdy Jimmy, howdy Maud Mathild H, howdy. So the bottom line is, yeah, and there's all these people that have religious exceptions, medical exceptions, etc. So kind of the bottom line here is this, George Graham, I'll go ahead and answer your questions once I get through the intro kind of monologue thing. But I want to talk about specifically the big issue here is, to make it simply put, they could pass this as an executive order. They could. Well, technically it would just be an executive order on behalf of Biden. And then in addition with that, he could make it so that it doesn't directly integrate with disability benefits, but was more of like a program generated requirement. Because, they're not supposed to, do these massive things to these massive structure, without the legislator backing it. But President Biden has significant powers to do what's called executive orders. Executive agreements international, that's where he agrees with other leaders of countries. Executive enforcements or orders are essentially where he's doing something in the local arena, meaning the United States, all the territories under the United States. So one of the things that's a little bit tricky that I'm a little bit worried about is I saw Rick Scott giving a speech recently on the Senate floor. I was tipped off by another viewer talking about, howdy guys, howdy Misty C, Walter Scott, George Graham, Nanny Anderson, howdy. Let's see. So yeah, Amy Winter, GXY, howdy, good to see you. So let's talk about what would happen if this actually occurred. It would either come in the form of being passed by the Democrats through their control of the House and Senate, or it would be an executive order. If it gets passed through the House and the Senate with the signature of Biden, it's much stronger and harder to beat. If it gets passed through just the signature of the president through an executive order, there are more options to go ahead and either reduce its strength, like what it requires, what groups are part of it. And also, he's got to be careful, because if he continues to use his executive power, what happens is the legislator starts to get involved, right? And they start to limit the president's executive power over time. He can do this, but he can't do that. He can do this, but he can't do that. So he's got to be careful. However, realizing that the Senate and the House are controlled by essentially both the Democrats and also the Democratic senators, it's not likely that they're going to try and limit the president's power. So one of the weird things that's actually interesting is that at the end of the day, kind of the bottom line here is that realistically, he could use his executive power like Zeus's lightning bolt without fear of Congress going ahead and stopping him. in some way, fashion, or form, or limiting the capacity of the president going forward. I didn't realize that a couple of days ago. When I was thinking about executive orders, and then this popped up with this topic, and I thought, my God, the interesting thing is his executive power is incredibly strong. He can go ahead and make orders that would absolutely change the fundamental fabric of what America is, what it means to be an American, and whether or not we need something in order to get something from our government. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's say that it is. Let's switch it to the other side. It's ratified by the House. It's ratified by the Senate. Somebody files suit. What do you need to file suit? You need somebody who's been harmed, right? So you find any person who's not able to obtain their benefits without having to take the jab, or somebody who has to take the shot in order to keep their benefits and feels that it was unjust under the Constitution. In that situation, you have your harmed party. Once you have your harmed party, you throw a bunch of lawyers behind it and you sue the government. Issue number one, the government has a lot of immunity. But remember, we're not seeking a lot of damages here. This isn't like and it might be. You could be seeking massive damages across the spectrum for every single person involved. But then the government will have certain immunities against that to significantly reduce the financial options that you have against them. So this suit right off the bat, I just want you to understand, is going to be more about having people not need to get a vaccine than the great financial recovery you might get from the federal government. All right. So, yeah. And the funny thing is, you'd be suing them for your money back. All the money you paid in taxes, you'd be suing them to get your money back. So the bottom line is this. You essentially would have to file in a trial court and go through your district, circuit, Supreme Court appeals. This stuff all takes a long time. And a lot of people don't realize that when you do these lawsuits to go ahead and prevent the federal government from doing something, the judges at those levels will usually require a brief to be written by both parties and assimilated as a joint brief by both parties to be submitted to the adjudicator. Okay. They will usually have oral arguments. I'm sure they would be all over TV. I'm sure CNN, Fox News, MSNBC would be covering it nonstop. So what this means, can he override that's a Christina Ontiveros? That's a really good question. I'd have to research that and figure out specifically if he'd be able to do that. But the bottom line is this. What it means is that it would take potentially 5 to 7 years to adjudicate this thing all the way through to the Supreme Court with a decision. They could request everything to be sped up, expedited this, expedited that. You get some briefs of the friends of the court in there, and it might speed it up. You might get it to the Supreme Court relatively quickly. But let's say magically it was the fastest it could potentially be. Let's say the House, the Senate, President Biden all signed. If you get your disability benefits, you've got to take the vaccine, and every year you got to take a booster. Let's just say that actually passed through. And then let's say somebody sued who was an injured party, and then they went ahead and every single time they wanted, injunctive relief and this, summary judgment, blah, blah, blah. We went through all this stuff really quickly, right? Let's say that it took, at the trial stage, maybe 8 months, right? Let's say that it took that to go through the whole thing. You still have each appeal step. Because remember, what you're suing is a giant government entity that is protected by its constitutional right to go ahead and create things on behalf of the people. And the interesting thing is that the Constitution was mostly made with the purpose of giving people power to hold the government basically in the palm of their hand to do certain things for the people, right? It's the contractual promise that the government promises to the people. But inherent with that, the people give power to the government to create laws that restrict the people. So one thing that we run into is there's a time problem here, and then we'll go into the other issues. The time problem, number one, is that it would take a significant amount of time to just get this thing overturned. And during that time, you would have to have a judge. And you know that they're going to file this thing in federal land in a place that is most likely going to support their agenda, which is going to be any red state, Texas, Florida, whatever. Any state, federal court That's where they're going to file it. Because if you file it in California, if you file it in New York, they're just going to rule in favor of the government to require everybody to go ahead and get the jab, because that's how those courts tend to roll. And I know that we're supposed to say judges are inherently independent, but we know that's not true. We know that's not true. They're not supposed to look in. They're supposed to look like they're independent, but we know that's not always accurate. And here's why. Why would we hold all of these Senate hearings to put somebody on the Supreme Court where we bring up questions as to how they will rule on things if we believe that they're always going to be neutral? Well, they're not neutral if we have to ask them where they're going to stand on things. And then, of course, they sit there and they go, categorically, I agree that this might show up before a court, and therefore I'm not going to give testimony on this, and before the court, blah, 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 all that stuff. And they play the game. But realistically, we know, you know what I mean? We know specifically that the judges will lean one way or another. We have judges who essentially prefer or favor particular agendas. And that's not always a terrible thing either. You want a judge with a very big heart. You want a judge to care for the people. You want a judge to be pro people and, for the most part, cautious of the actual government. We usually don't see a lot of that nowadays because the government gets to pick, for the most part, who the lower level judges are, and then the politicians pick, for the most part, who the higher level judges are. Ever thought about that? So we got a problem. We have a judicial system which inherently is unlikely to, essentially support the people when it's facing the federal government. And we saw that too. We saw that no matter how much you hate the prior president, things like that, or maybe like him, we saw that where, when he went before the Supreme Court said, no, go to the lower courts, figure it out there, and then we'll take it. I was surprised at that. I thought that they would take anything related to him, with the insurrection, any of that stuff. I thought that they would take that straight to the Supreme Court. Why waste time? If the president of the United States is mentioned directly in the Constitution, same sort of lines and linear. I mean, he's the one who picks the person that's going to be brought. Take him right to the Supreme Court. Save everybody the hassle. Let's get a real decision right there. Let them do it. They're the best of the best. That would not happen, assuredly, if this were a situation where disabled people were filing suit against the federal government for requiring them to have a vaccine. All right, so let's talk about this. And then you got another problem, which is the financial aspect of it. Who is going to pay for this vaccine on a yearly basis for the disabled to actually take it and all the booster shots that would be required under this law? We got a lot of people getting super rich off of this. Do we expect Medicaid to always cover this? Do we expect Medicare to always cover this? Do we expect the disabled to pay out of pocket to pay for this? I mean, they're never going to sell that in that agenda. So we've got a financial problem of who's going to pay for it. We've got a timeline problem of they could put it in place and it would take a lot of time to go ahead and get rid of it. Although a judge may restrict its use and say, no, we're putting that on hold until we finally adjudicate this. We've got another problem. Another problem is that may suck up all the attention about Social Security benefits for SSI and SSDI, which means we go into the 2022 midterms and everybody's talking about that and not pushing to increase benefits for the disabled. So we have an attention, the light is focused on the wrong thing problem, which as you guys have all seen, the government's gotten better and better and better at redirecting your attention to something that just totally doesn't matter, right? In the spectrum of something that's massive, right? Of 16 million people. So we have that issue. The next issue we run into is essentially the practical application part of it. Most disabled people cannot get the shot if they have certain responses to particular chemicals, certain responses to particular environments, where they have to be around a bunch of people where they're getting the shot. You just can't put them in that situation. If you get somebody who can't be around others and all of a sudden you're shoving him into a giant room where he's got to get a shot in his arm where there's a ton of people around him, even if everybody's in their cars, you could have a real problem. You also have the practical application problem of what happens when the disabled, this is like a news point, you know what I mean? Keeping the good faith in the community. What happens when some disabled people get it and then start to go and pass away as a result from it? Now you have essentially loss of life, which is what this vaccine would steal from those individuals, which means that in a sort of way, it's like a required, by federal law, murdering of those individuals who physiologically could not actually have this injection. And who put that in place? The politicians. And who has protection legally usually? The politicians. So we've got some problems here. We have Rick Scott. And, here's the thing. I did not expect the Republicans to give a damn about the disabled when it comes to this vaccine. I didn't expect them to give a damn. Like, I expected them to give a damn in a general sense of like, everybody, we don't want to make this a requirement. But I didn't expect Rick Scott to actually promote the idea that this is a problem. I didn't expect it from Florida people. That's for damn sure. I mean, I just didn't see that. I didn't see Florida being like, oh, we really need to worry about the disabled. Florida worries about the retired, but Florida, that's not the number one state when it comes to worrying about the disabled. All right, so I want you to understand that these are the problems that are facing this situation. I want you to start to think about what could be done to make sure that it never becomes something. And I want you to focus on specifically, essentially, who you can talk to push an agenda to not make you have to take it. If you want to take it, and here's where I stand, guys. With my law firm, if you want to get the vaccine, cool. If you don't want to get the vaccine, cool. There's no requirement that Disability Resolution PA will ever have for any of its employees to get any medical corrective measure, which is essentially what this is. It is correcting your physiology to take something for something that's bad out in the environment. We will never require that. I took it. I didn't feel good after the first one. I took it again, got the second shot, the Pfizer. It literally put me in the hospital, in the emergency room. I got out. I got my bill for over $1,000. I called up Pfizer. They said they weren't going to cover it. I called up my insurance. They weren't going to cover it. So I got to cover it. So I'm the one who has to pay for that. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and bring forward to you. I want you to understand that. I'm not letting you know this because I want you to be in, fear. I am making you aware of things that might be coming up in the near future. And the bad part of this is that if they start to promote the idea that the disabled need it to be able to be safe, please, let me just assure you of this. You know what is best. I'm straight at the camera on this. What is best for your body to be able to survive? There is no magical machine where the government can tell what kind of pain you're feeling. There's no magical machine where the government can tell all the little things that are happening in your body. They have machines to tell you generally what's going on. If there might be an MRI thing where they find, or an X-ray or CAT scan or whatever, whatever. But they do not know as well as you. It is your job to get doctors to give you opinions, for you to get second opinions, and then make your own damn choice as to what you want to do. That's the bottom line. If somebody starts forcing you to do something, this is my thing. Look, we have kids have to do this. We have kids have to do that. I get that, because kids can't necessarily make choices on their own. And sadly, parents let the government just take over that, even though the parents should have the decision. But when it comes to adults, it is crucial that you retain your right to decide what happens to your body, whether you support getting the shot as a disabled person or not. All right. There's my piece on that. We're going to be doing a lot of videos after this. Not tonight, though, because I'm super worn out. I wanted to go through some other things, but I do want to get to the questions so that we can go ahead and begin the process. Let's see. Nanny Anderson, and yet Congress doesn't have a mandate for them. Yeah, they don't have a mandate. I'm not sure exactly what the reference is to. Let me see if I can scroll up. Yeah, Congress does not have a mandate for them yet for the disabled, but they do have a mandate for them for, the government entities or companies that are integrated into the government entities. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of people quitting right now. You have entire emergency rooms staffing, categories at major companies that are shutting down because it's just mass firings. People don't care. They'd rather just go find a job where they don't have to be forced to do something they don't want to do. It is what it is. Once again, I support your decision, whatever you guys want to do. Now, very important. We are today going to pick a name for what this nonprofit group is going to be. That is the 16 million votes of all the SSDI and SSI people, all the disabled people. I mean, you could throw the VA people in there too, but a lot of them are already on one of those programs as well. But the point is, SSDI people, SSI people, it's over 16 million votes. Today we are picking a name for what this nonprofit group is going to be. A lot of you have submitted names. They include really cool things like, the This Union or the League or the Endangered Disabled Club, or there's just so many cool names. The one I came up with, which I think sounds lame, but is probably the proper description, was the Disabled Caucus, or disabledcaucus.com. What I would like you guys to do is now spend a moment and think of names that we can come together with so that we can just pick one. And I can start to set up the server and set up stuff. And then you guys can pick your leaders and pick whoever you want to run it. So I can start to set up this nonprofit for you guys to lead it as a disabled group to successfully show people who to vote for as House reps, who to vote for as senators, who to vote for as local politicians, who to vote for as state, federal politicians, so that the disabled can be one unit with over 16 million votes going in one direction, which has the capacity to change a presidential election all the way down. And remember, it's always like .org. So, ourvoicesmatter.org. Stoptheinsanity.org. But remember, we need it to be something that says 16 million votes are being redirected towards a particular agenda, being benefits for the disabled. We also needed to say that the disabled are essentially going in one direction consistently. So how do we get this chunk number of 16 million and disabled using that chunk number in one direction into one name? Go ahead, guys. Disabledanonymous.org. That's pretty cool. I like it. Let's see. I'm glad you take the vaccine to have Section 8. Okay. Hey, everyone. There you go. Okay, so our video assistant is having a good time at Olive Garden, eating all of the breadsticks. That's good. Guys, think of names. What names are we going to name this nonprofit group? I'm going to give about 5 minutes to this thing. We need a group name for a nonprofit at .org. Think about it. What kind of name? Throw them up there. And I know a lot of you guys already have names that you were thinking about, right? I said disabilitycaucus.org. I would really like to see you guys come up with this. Come on. alllifematters.org. That's not bad. That's kind of off of the whole Black Lives Matter thing. Hello there, moderator. Olive Garden is also, yeah, indeed it is. Over Waller, he's great. As I wanted to be. Disabled Alliance Association, DAA. That's not bad. I like that. Disabled Alliance Association. I dig that. Let's see. We the Disabled. I really like that. Guys, I really like that. What else? What else do we have? Disgruntled Disabled. That's good. I don't think it's as good as We the Disabled, because you remember, it's we the people, pulling off of the history of the documents we create. DisabledAmerica.org, Disabled Lives Matter. That one's pretty good. I really like that one. Disabled Lives Matter. That one's really good. What do you guys think about that one? Disabled Lives Matter. What if we swapped out lives for something else? Disabled, well, I don't know. Disabled Lives Matter is amazing. Disabled changes the vote. Or disabledvote.org. I mean, disabledvote.org is like as simple as it can be. I mean, that's like super direct. Stephanie G says, no, please don't. I hated All Lives Matter. We are the disabled that's owned by the government. I like it. I'm disabled. So, okay. You guys, write down which one you like, right? Or just put it into the chat session. Put it right here. Hold on, let me do this real quick. Put it in there. Disabledadvocacy.org. That's good, but that's I don't feel like that's super strong. That's just like, hey, it could be anything. You could be advocating, to get them benefits. You could be advocating to, whatever. You know what I mean? It needs to be something strong and Disabledspeak.org. That's not bad. Different abled heroes. That's good, but I don't know if everybody will understand that one. We the Disabled. That one's really good. We the Disabled is really good, guys. Disabledhaveavoice.org. That's really long, but really good. Disabledconstitutionrights.org. I like that one because obviously I'm doing spaceconstitution.com. So inherently, I think that's cool. We the Disabled. I like We the Disabled too. Disabled Americans for Dignity. Disabled Matters. Or let's see, disabilitystrong.org. That's not bad. What do I know that from? Something strong. Wasn't that guy with the bicycle guy with the yellow, Neil Armstrong? We the Disabled, made him first two. Disabled Community Change. That's not bad. We the Disabled, All American Disabled People Matters Alliance, United Disabled Alliance. All right, so we need to start picking out our favorite ones. Okay, let's see. All right, so we know we the disabled.org. That's a big one. Disabled badasses. Yeah, I mean, if we were a motorcycle game, that like if we were a motorcycle gang, that's what we would do. Disabledunited.org. Gonna put that up there. Good. Disabled Caucus. Thank you, Lori D, picking up the one I did. Disabled Caucus, which literally means exactly what this thing is, but nobody really likes the word caucus. So, like, I had people literally email me. They're like, "Don't use the word caucus. It's exactly what this group is about, but it sounds terrible." I was like, "That's true." I like We the Disabled. Different Able United. See, the problem with different is that right off the bat, you're like, what is different? How are they different? It's not as it's not boom, there's it. There it is, the disabled. Voice of the Disabled.org. Damn, that's good. Voice of the Disabled.org. Oof, that's pretty good too. Disabled Strong. We the Disabled. Don't diss my ability. Don't diss my ability. That is so creative. That's awesome. Disabled Rights Association. Ooh, that's really good too. Or how about Disabled Rights Voting, or Disabled Rights Voters, or Disabled Disabled Voting, or Disabled Votes.org. What about DisabledVotes.org? Disabled We Stand. That's pretty good. Wheelchair Crew. Yeah, but not everybody's in a wheelchair. But that is really the name right there. That sounds like almost like a TV show that would like get super high views. Don't diss my ability. That's so creative. I love that. All disability candidates matter.org. I think that's good, but it's just super long. Like somebody's gonna have to type all that in. Disabled Rights Matter, disabledforchange.org. Ooh, that's really good. Oh man, you guys are rocking this. Look at that. Disabled for Disabled. Oh, and put like a little 4 in there, for disabled.org. Oh man, these are so good. You guys are making this really hard. Like normally there's like one where like, oh, obviously that's the one, but but it is currently in use. Okay, we the disabled.org is currently in use. Okay, so yeah, guys, we need a checker person, and GXY, you have officially been selected as our checker person to just go to GoDaddy or whatever and pick it. All right, we the disabled.org. So that's been taken. What about Wrecked Lives Matter? Jeez, that's true, but it's kind of like, well, we need it small though. It can't be massive. Like here, look. Let me go to. Because what this is gonna and GYX is right on target. We have to pick one that like. What if you did disabledvotes.org? Let's see what we got here. So disabledvotes.org is available. Give me another one to look up real quick. So disabledvotes.org is available. Or it could be disabilityvotes.org. That's also, let me see if that one's available. Let's see, disabilityvotes.org. That one's taken. That one's taken. Disabilityvotes.org is taken. Let me see if that one even like. And what happens is people buy these disabilityvotes.org. Let's see. That goes nowhere. That's literally nothing. That's just somebody bought the URL and it goes nowhere. Which is what they do a lot of stuff. They just buy stuff that they think people want. Disabled United Caucus, Disabled Destiny, Disabled Reality, Ability for Change, Disabled R Us. Disabled R Us is cool, but then Toys R Us went out of business. So yeah, see, that's the thing is you don't want to be stuck with Black Lives Matter infringing on what this is too as a name, because there's a lot of people that are disabled that want nothing to do with what Black Lives Matter became, because Black Lives Matter started out as this idea that was supporting and pushing the agenda of rights for African Americans and those of the Caribbean islands that were brought over here, and then it was bought out by corporate entities and ultimately ended up being owned by a giant corporation. So it you know what I mean? There's issues there with that one. WeMatter.org. Let me check that one out. That one's not bad. Hold on. WeMatter.org. Let's see what we got. That one's taken. Why not disabled votes? Yeah, I mean disabled votes is good. I mean that one's let me try that one again. Let me make sure that one's okay. Disabledvotes.org. Yeah, that one's available. We could do that one. United Voices, Disabled Voice USA. Well, we don't even need to put USA in it because it might become something bigger than the USA one day. Disabled is Us. That's not bad. Disabled for Disabled. Oh, yeah, that one. Let me check that one out. That one's really good. That one's really good. Disabled for disabled. Disabled for. Let me make sure I spelled it right. Okay, let's check it out. That one's available. That one's really, really cool. I've got people texting me too. I'm not sure what they're saying yet. I've got people calling me. I will call you guys back once we get through this. Okay, so let's see. We the Disabled. I think that one was taken though. Yeah, that one. We the Disabled.org. That one is taken. Let me see if somebody even is using it. I mean, we don't want to have to like spend $2,000 to buy this from somebody. We the Disabled. See, welcome to We the Disabled. This is how can we help? You are presently over 8 million people in our country who receive some sort of SSDI benefits. People who become disabled. This is kind of like the idea of it. Have ideas about how we could do that better? Join us. So this is a group, but it's kind of like a little mini website that I don't think October 21st, Chicago culinary event, Sunday supper. It's kind of like a little mini group that's kind of doing some of this stuff already. Sunday supper. Let's see, evening parks. I'm not even sure if this is like 2020 stuff. Let's see, services. I'm service section. Click here to this website isn't even done. Be the disabled. I'm not sure when they set this up. The idea is there. They started a cute little website. It looks like 2021 is when they started, powered by GoDaddy. But it's kind of like a small little website. Okay, let's see. Disabled Lives United, Disabled Enabled to Vote, Unity of Disabled. That's cool. It sounds like a video game. Disabled Revolution. Let me check and see if that's available. Let's see. Hold on. Disabled Revolution is available. That's not bad. Let's see what else we got. Don't diss my big. I really like that too, but I don't think people are on board with that one. All right, guys. So let's do this. Pick one. We're coming down to the fine line. What are you going to call this nonprofit that gets 16 million votes going in the same direction to basically vote in politicians who support raising benefits, decreasing restrictions, eradicating penalties? Let's see, disabled affiliates, disabled association, the largest minority. That's an interesting one. I give me another one. I have an existing show on the brain injury radio network called the Empowerment Zone. I'd be willing to alter that so we could use it for this. It goes the entire United States. That's cool. That's a good one. Hey, that'd be amazing. That'd be super good. And Les Paul, love the guitar. Disturbed disabled or disgruntled disabled. Yeah, disabled design. Like like an architect spiel. That's really good. Voice of the disabled, disabled power vote. I feel like we keep going back to disabled votes or disability votes. I think disability votes was taken. Let me see again. Hold on. Disabilityvotes.org. That's taken. That's totally taken. Let's see. And I think with that one, disabilityvotes.org. That one nobody's using. Nobody's using that one. Let's do disabled votes. That one's available, guys. $10 a year. And then it goes up to $20, $21. It's not bad. Disabled for change. Let me check that out. Hold on. Let's see what we got. Disabledforchange.org. That one's available. That's not bad. Disabled prisms, lots. Disability revolution. That's good. I don't know if this is like a full. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's more of just redirecting votes, but yeah, we all want our vote to matter. Disabled we stand. Don't fringe on the disabled. ESS. Let's see. For disabled votes, simple and clear message. Yeah, disabled votes is probably like disabled votes and disability caucus are like two very. It means exactly what it says, which I've always been a fan of because some people name these nonprofits things that these big like long thing like, and I don't mean to get on like Christian groups, but Christian groups will name like their thing this massive sentence, and then I'll have to like look it up and type up this massive sentence into the URL, and that makes it tough. Doesn't mean it's not worthwhile, it just means it's tough to look it up. Like, disabled for dignity, that's really good. Disability on in crisis. I like having voter in the name, says it all. Yeah, I think Jackie P is right. On like having vote or voters or voting, disabled voting, or well, no, because that makes it sound like the voting process is impaired. All right, you're right. We need the top 5, guys. What are we doing here? Apparently, I've not been doing a good job. We need the disability video assistant to crack the whip on me and say, get it right, get it done. All right, what are we doing here? Disabled votes. That's really good. I really like that. All right, so what are our top 5? Let's do disabledvotes.org. I'm just throwing in the one I created, disabledcaucus.org. Disabled voices vote, or just disabled voices.org. Disability in crisis, please vote. That's long though. That's way too long. Disabled affiliates USA. Yeah, but you wouldn't use USA because you gotta be like disabled affiliates. But that doesn't really say voting. I said something like whatever the hell that stuff is. Yeah. Able not. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like disabled votes is DV. Disabled caucus is DC. DC, Washington DC. Use voters. Yeah, I feel like voters is more approachable for people than caucus, because caucus, let's call it is. Nobody, unless you're watching political news, you're not going to know what that means. VoteDisabilitiesNow.org. Ooh, that's not a bad one. VoteDisabilitiesNow.org or VoteDisabled.org. What about that? VoteDisabled.org. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, I'm that one. Disability resolution, but I'm .com. Yeah. What about VoteDisabled.org? We the disabled-voters.org. That's not bad. But then we're kind of snookering what that other group is doing with their thing. Disabled with Dignity, DWD. That's not bad. It's a good acronym. Good acronym. Protect the disabled. That's not bad. Vote for the disabled. Disabled voters. Yeah, but the problem with disabled voters is it's like, although that isn't bad, it says disabled voters. They're disabling their voters. Vote for the disabled rights, disabled American movement, vote disabled united. That's not bad. The disabled vote. The disabled vote. What about that, guys? The disabledvote.org. What do you guys think about that one? What about votedisabled.org? Disabledvote.org. I think that was taken though. Which would be the best one? Disabled voting. Or we could just do castingvotes.org, something like that. Or disabled casting votes. Votes matter. Disabled stand up and vote. But yeah, we can't use we the disabled though, because somebody already took that. Disabledvoters.org. I think honestly, disabled voters, if they're disabled and they're voters, I think that's the way to go. The more and more I think about it, I think like that's the way to go. Disabledvoters.org. Oh, shoot, but disabled voters is taken, so we need disabilityvotes.com or .org. Disabilityvotes.org. Disabilityvotes.org. Wait a minute, that's taken? Wait a minute. Continue to cart. Let me see, because I'm adding these to the cart as we do them. That way, like I can reserve them and purchase them for everybody. Okay, let me see what we got here. I don't need any of that junk. Continue to cart. Just one second, guys. I'm going to look this thing up real quick and see what we got here. All right, so what I guess our top 5 is exactly this. I've been collecting Disabled Live Matter, so many good ones. Disabled United Disabled Vote, Disabled Fighter, Disabled Rights Now. Leave the word vote out. Yeah, but the whole thing's about voting. Like the whole point is like literally to cast votes in a particular direction. You know what I mean? Like that's the voting is like the entire purpose of the nonprofit. Because if it's like, hey, we're going to advocate on behalf of your rights, that's cool. But that is not as important as, hey, we're going to show you who to vote for. Because if we show you who to vote for, then we're voting in the people that are going to change the law, as opposed to just being like, hey, we're going to advocate, in your direction. There's a lot of things that advocate for the disabled. We want something that's for the votes. Disabled Alliance, Disabled Fighters, Different Able Votes, United Disabled Votes, Disabled Choices. We are disabled voters. So it was right. Leave vote out. Yeah, we can't leave vote out though. Vote is like the most important part of this whole thing. This isn't an advocacy purely for the sense of we want to convince politicians. This is like look, guys, there's two things here. There's people doing it the old way, which is essentially we want to advocate and get the politicians to hear us. And then there's this side, which is what the mega corporations use, which is we threaten and help fund essentially those politicians we want. Now, these guys have always consistently lost to these guys. So this group needs to be about these guys right here, voting to put the people we want in to make those people do what we want, choosing the politicians that give us what we want. Disabled Discord, Roughed Up Voters, Disabled American Voters, United Disabled Vote needs to stay in the name. Yeah, I agree. Let's see, another category. Your name is the old way. Well, I mean, the oldest way is everybody just, that's like everybody casts a stone in the direction of the one they want, as opposed to the new way, which evolved over time, in my opinion, to be, where they would manipulate the system to pick the politicians that they wanted. That seems to work the best. That's the whole thing here, is that we're trying to go ahead and get the politicians to do exactly what we want before they even take office. And then the ones that are already in office fear these 16 million votes being cast away from them. That's kind of the thing here. This is more of a physical, scary force to these politicians, which I think will work a heck of a lot better than begging them to just give us a little. I don't see that advocacy in that sense working anymore, or having worked successfully for a long time. Now remember, it's got to be short, guys. It's got to be short and simple. It's got to be like they can type it in with 10 characters, 15 characters. It can't be a sentence. It's got to be a super short URL. something itty bitty. Disability United Vote, Disabled Voting Fighters. Try Vote to Protect Disabled. All right, let me try that out. Let's see. Hold on, let me get this going again. GoDaddy. Disabled. Okay, let me see. Vote to Protect Disabled. Let's see. Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. Vote to Protect Disabled. Let's see what we got here. That one is available, but it's super duper long. Super long. I think it's good though. It exactly says the intention of the group. It's good. It's only like $3 for the first year. Then it goes to like, $19. What do you guys think about that one? You guys like that one? Is your opening? Are we getting stimulus? But the opening wasn't about stimulus. It was GXY. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You're like the super funder of the entire show. This is amazing. Thank you, GXY. I appreciate it. I mean, I was going to buy it, but now you're buying it, which is amazing. So I appreciate that. I really do. All right, guys, what do you think? What do you guys think about that one? What do you guys think of Vote to Protect Disabled? It's long, but it's literally the exact same. It's the exact thing that this is. Ballots for the disabled. That's not a bad one either. So one we're looking at right now, I'm going to copy it exactly as it is. Oh, hold on. Let me .org. I have it in there wrong. It's a .com. Okay, it's a .org. The .org is more than the .com. Wow, that's surprising. What do you guys think about that one? Vote to Protect Disabled.org. Oh, Shadow's not with me. He's in Fort Lauderdale right now. He's actually eating better in Fort Lauderdale right now because they cook cookies for dogs and cakes for dogs. Like my sister and my mom are like, they're spoiled. Like I've never seen Shadow this shiny. Disabled Rights for Change. That's pretty long. We need something that says votes. Be easier to make a logo. Sounds good. That works. That's good. Disabled Vote for Change.org. That's not bad. Although I worry about the word change because a lot of people don't like the word change. Vote to Protect Disabled. That's pretty good. Disabled vote counts. That one's really good too. Oh, guys, every time we get close to one, you come up with another really good one. Disabledvotecounts.org. That one's available. Let's see. That one's available. Okay. All right. We're getting there. Look, we're getting closer. That's all that matters here. We're getting closer. I got kicked out when I said I'd pay for a vote to protect disabled. How'd you get kicked out? Of like the thing? You got kicked out of the chat session? Jeez. Well, let me know if it happens again, let me know. The other side of the coin is I don't really have a lot of control over that, or maybe I do. I don't know. I don't use this thing a lot. How do I do that stuff? Oh, it's the triple buttons. And then there's remove, put user in timeout, hide user, and add moderator. So those are my options. All right. Create a poll. So guys, the Disability Benefits Videos Assistant, also known as Cheyenne, is essentially putting it to you. We're going to create a poll. We have vote to protect. All right. So I'm going to literally go through every single one that we have looked at. Okay. Here is one of them. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little Word doc thingy. I'm going to put them all side by side. And then you guys are going to let me know from all those which one you like. And we're just going to do it that way because then we can figure out which one we're going with. And then we'll just pick it. And if we end up not liking it, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. All right, let me see real quick. Here we go. Here's another one. Now, remember, we might have to do a couple votes because there's a bunch here. And as I read through these again, I think, wow, some of these are really good. Disabled votes counts. Here we go. Vote to protect disabled.org. All right. Right here, guys. Right here. Here we go. Pulling it up. Are you ready? Are you guys ready? Here, oh no, it created a bunch of URLs. Hold on. Let me see if I can split this up. Hold on, let me just split it up here. Oh god, it made a strudel out of the entire thing. Hold on, I've almost got it. I'm just gonna put a bunch of spaces, and it's probably gonna show up horribly on your side, but just take a look at it, see what you can do with it. Hold on, I'm almost there. All right, guys, are you ready? Gonna come in a little bit screwed up, but here are the options. Send. Boom. Disabledvotes.org, disabledfordisabled.org, disabledrevolution.org, disabledforchange.org, disabledvotecounts.org, vote2protectdisabled.org. SS votes. Oh, God, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Let me see if that's available. Oh, let me go back. Let me go back. SS votes. Available. It's available. That's an amazing one. Okay, we're adding SS votes to the option.org. I think disabled votes. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, disabled votes. Yeah, I know I am. But guys, remember, you have to be happy with this. I'm not leading this thing. I'm gonna buy the URL, I'm gonna buy the URL, purchase the hosting, put a template on it, and then say, cool, what do you guys want the logo to look like? And then at that point, we'll go ahead and figure out what the logo is gonna look like. All right, so where are we at? Vote for the disabled, vote to protect the disabled, vote disabled. I vote for the disabled bumper sticker. Disabled Superman. There you go. SSA votes. But that's like the Social Security Administration. You're like, you don't want the administration word in there. But Social Security votes.org. Because then you guys could get the retired people in there. And then you'd be, I mean, let's look. How many retired people are there? Retired Americans. I think it was like, let's see, 71.6 million. At a total national cohort of about 71.6 million. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, if you had that 71.6 million votes, you know, disabledlaws.org. No, that doesn't really say voting though. Vote to protect the disabled. We disabled vote. Disability benefits vote now. All right, I'm going to do an executive thing. And exactly. We're going to do a match off. We're going to do a match off. We're going to pick the ones that I think are what everybody keeps saying, which is whatever. So we're going to do, all right, out of the following two, what do we like more? ssvotes.org or vote to protect the disabled.org. What do we like out of those two? Those are, in my head, those are like up there. So disabled votes decide. That's even better. Disabled votes decide. Or disabled elect. Disabled electing. Vote to protect. Number two. What was number two? Votes to protect the disabled. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, so we know votes to protect disabled are in. All right, now I want to see disabledelect.org versus vote to protect disabled.org. What are we looking at? Are we doing so? Yeah, no, basically we're deciding, is it going to be disabledelect.org or vote to protect disabled.org? Protectdisabled.org. 2, huh? 222. All right, so we can't forget the elders. Well, I mean, that's the retired. SS votes. Vote to protect disabled. Everybody's on board with vote to protect disabled. I mean, guys, when you think about it, it is quite literally the exact thing that this group is. Vote to protect disabled. I mean, if you took like a sentence and you were like, how am I going to summarize it to be the smallest thing that says what this nonprofit will be? Vote to protect disabled.org is that thing. Are we on board with that? Are we cool with that? Retired Sergeant Melinda, looks like we're good. Deborah, we're good. Free Spirit, we're good. But they need to know that we do vote ourselves. Well, yeah, I mean, vote to protect disabled. The disabled are going to want to vote for that. Swinweller, SS votes means what it says. Yeah. Everybody's on board. Everybody's on board. All right, cool. I'm going to take a moment right now. When I added all these things, it came up to like 663. 63. All right, let me go ahead and get rid of a bunch of these things in here. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that one. We're gonna get rid of this one. We're gonna get rid of that one. And then GoDaddy throws on their like ridiculous full domain privacy. We'll give you hugs and kisses through GoDaddy.com. All that junk. Let me get rid of that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna purchase 2 years. That's good. Let me get this to 2 years. Best value. There you go. And then here we go. We're doing all right. Let me get rid of this other junk here. Okay, SS votes. Do you guys want me to buy ssvotes.org anyway? Do you want me to just pay for it? Like, do you want me to just buy it? Because, if you wanted to do something that integrated with retire, do you want me to just buy that one as well? I see a yes there. I see 100% yes. I mean, I'll buy it. I'm buying it. It's all good. Charles Central Lynn says no. Yes, please. I'm just gonna. Yes, too confused. No, I agree. I don't think it's as good as the other one. Who actually came up with. So I just where credit is due. Who actually came up with vote to protect disabled.org? Just so we know who came up with it. Who came up with that? Anybody? Who actually came up with that? Just so we know who came up with that. Anybody want to say who came? All right. Anyways, me. Oh, retired Sergeant Melinda. Awesome. I'm sorry. I saw a million and I'm like, I'm trying to do the yada yada. But yeah. So retired Sergeant Melinda, you are amazing. You have officially selected as the leader and CEO of Choosing the URL, which is the chooser with executive powers official. To go ahead and choose, basically vote to protect disabled.org. That's brilliant. All right, guys, what I'll do is I'm ready to pay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pay. Now I go to payment, will be PayPal. Here we go. Complete purchase. And now it'll take me to PayPal and say, I don't know what my password is. So we'll have to get through that. We all know how that's going to go. Let me see real quick what we got going on. It's it just automatically purchased it without letting me know what account it was going to come from. Awesome. That means it works. All right, so I just want to go ahead and show you guys real quick what this came out to. Oh, now it's making me sign in, which is weird that it would make me sign in to buy something, but it does to see the order. Let's see real quick. Here's the order. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm going to do, guys, this is for your records. You have to hold on to this because one of you is going to lead this group as punishment. That's the information. Oh, it's too big. The thing is too big. It's over 707. I only get 200 that I'm allowed to type in. All right, hold on. Let me find you the numbers on here so I can just give you the numbers. Okay, cool. Right here. Okie doke. Here they are. All right, this is it right here. You guys are officially the new owners of vote to protect disabled.org and ssvotes.org. Congratulations. Amazing. Obviously, we're going with vote to protect disabled.org. Congratulations. You guys have officially chosen what your future nonprofit is going to be called, which is super duper cool. I'm really happy. Yeah, Sergeant, Sergeant Melinda, you rock that. So awesome job. Awesome. And that's, no, it's not too long because think about it. It says exactly what the group is. And we can always buy a URL that's smaller too for that. Because you could always take vote to protect disabled and make it V2PD. Like you could make it that, you could always shrink that URL just to be v2pd. Let's see if that's available. That's the mini version of it. Let's go to home, GoDaddy. Here we go. We're going to, let me just search. All right, search a new domain. Let me just make sure it's right. Vote to protect disabled, v2pd.org. That is available. v2pd. Do you guys think we should get that URL? I'm cool with buying it if you're cool with buying it. Should be a slogan. Together we can. Yeah, but together we can is like too general. That could be anything. Like together we can save Canada. You know what I mean? Do you think we should do that? Okay, so I see Annette says yes. So this is what it would look like. Let me go ahead and grab it real quick. It's actually kind of very powerful and like v2pd.org, vote to protect disabled.org. Protect disabled and retired. Yeah, I mean, but it's more like the disabled. I mean, we could always do like, another group that includes the retired too. I should get it. Should I get it? You guys let me know. You want me to buy that one? The v2pd.org. It's the mini version of Retired Sergeant Melinda's. Yes. Super good. Crystal, thank you. Thank you for the donation. I will literally apply those funds to this. I appreciate it. I'm seeing some yeses. I'm seeing some nos. So if you get SSI, they may require you to get a vaccine. Yeah, we did a whole thing on that in the intro, Lisa, but we can always go into it in summary later. Yes, all across. Cool. All right, we are now going to add to cart. We have added it to cart. Continue to cart. Boop. Very good. Let me see what we got over here. I don't need to add all these other thingies. We don't need domain protection. We don't need GoDaddy hug and back rub protection, although that is quite nice, I've been told. Let's see what we got here. We'll do 2 years. Very good. Here we go. And let me see if they're throwing anything on, because they'll do that. They'll be like, and we'll host and give you, kisses in the middle of the night by GoDaddy.org or GoDaddy.com. Okay, so I'm ready to pay. Boop. Okay. I don't want all this other jazz. I just want the thing. It's PayPal. It's me. Complete purchase. And let's see what we got. This is actually really smart, guys. Wow. Sissy Taylor. Wow. Hive Runner. Whoa. What happened? Everybody's like, don't. Whoa. This is good. This is wow. So guys, email me if you want to be part of the group. And then we need somebody that can do administrative stuff, like, collect emails. And I'll set up an general email for it, like info at v2pd.org, or the bigger version of it, which is vote to protect disabled.org. And remember, we can have those both. We can advertise both. We can have it so that essentially it just forwards to whatever URL we want to use. Let's see. Vote to protect will be the main site. I mean, yeah, it could either or could be the main site, because you could make the main site either or and just have the URL forward directly to that site. So it doesn't really matter which one you type in. You could advertise it. Kim Proudy, thank you. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. That's very, very good. Okay, so guys, we now officially have a really kick-ass name that says, and I don't know how she came up with it, but she nailed it. Like, it's literally the exact perfect summation of what we'd want this nonprofit to be. So, okay, so need email and PayPal. Yours, I can have stickers and shirts made up. My PayPal is just this, but let me create a PayPal for that. Here's my PayPal, but let me create a PayPal first. I'll create a PayPal specifically. I got a bank account for it, and then file the nonprofit thing for it. But yeah, Laura C, don't worry about it. It's amazing. Yeah, Retired Sergeant Melinda, that you nailed it. God gave it to you. Absolutely. This is incredible. So that is perfection. Okay, now our homework for next week, for next Thursday, is, after we do our introduction, a monologue about a particular topic, now we need to start finding logo images that we really like. And I don't know if we can put pictures into the talk thing here, but we need to find a way to like upload images so that we can grab a link and show people images that we like with creating this logo. So the hardest part of creating a nonprofit is actually done. You guys just did it, which is the creation of the name, which is just incredible. Now we're on to step 2, which is now we need a logo. So everybody, if you could, search for logos that look really cool, that you want to pull elements from that we can apply to what this logo will be. For Vote to Protected Disabled, vote to protectdisabled.org. That's awesome. v2pd.org. That sounds like a t-shirt to me. That sounds really good. Okay, so bottom line is, guys, let me get the basic stuff set up so that we can have like a PO box for it and a this and a that. We need, yes, everybody, thanks, Sergeant, retired Sergeant Melinda. We need at this point now a logo. We need a color scheme that we like for the website. That's super duper important. We need a color scheme. So whatever you guys come up with the color scheme, let me know. It should be something that's fun, like light blues and maybe some light grays and some light like off whites, like creamy colors. But you guys figure that out. Find websites that you think look really, really good and grab those. Okay, cool. So a wheelchair person kicking a guy in the suit in the butt. That is also very accurate, Steffi G. That is very direct. I don't know if you want to be that direct, but that is very accurate. Okay, cool. So, all right. So, yeah, red, white, and blue. I mean, it should be. It's patriotic. Absolutely. Lavender. I love lavender on websites. I really do. Light blue and lavender is amazing. Okay, cool. So, So next thing is essentially we have to answer questions for people that have questions about stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the phone number in there. I did have people call. I'm going to call them back right now, get them on the phone, and begin the process. So let me go ahead and get them rolling, and then we should be good to go. Let me put the brightness on the phone way up. Let me go over here to people who have called. A quick announcement too. We had a mailing problem. I hired a person to mail stuff out for me, and they screwed it up. So then I had to recreate everything and remail it out. So if last week you were expecting a package at the end of the week, you're going to get it this week. And for those people who are expecting things by the end of this week, from the beginning of this week, I went to go mail things twice. The machines were broken at night. So then what I did was I went today. The machine at the new place was broken. So I was like, what the heck am I going to do? So you're going to get essentially your return envelope is going to have a bunch of really cute stickers on it. Yeah, you're going to get that, but it is what it is. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and call the people who called in and begin answering questions. And then remember, your homework for next week is a logo and a website color scheme, or like the layout of a website that you like. And remember, it's got to have like a voting option for it so that people can vote. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use your fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions? Sure, good sir. I'm going to put you on speakerphone right now. How can I help you?
Okay, I'm 57 and on SSI.
Okay.
I get $7.94 a month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of confused on when I have to retire, when they tell you to, because
Sure.
So I don't know how that all works. How old do I have to be? They told me, I called Social Security, they said 62,
mm-hmm.
and that I would stay on SSI, that I wouldn't get any retirement.
So the way it works is, do you have 40 quarters of coverage at this point?
Throughout, well, not through the 10 years.
Well, you don't, yeah, you don't need to pass 10.
Throughout my working life, I do, yes.
Okay, good. So basically, that whole past 10-year requirement where you have to have 20 quarters of coverage, that's only for SSDI benefits. So the bottom line is you're good to go then. If you got 40 quarters of coverage at 62, they will require you to take early retirement, and you will transition from SSI onto onto retirement. So you'll get penalized. You'll be taking retirement at 62 and have to ride that puppy all the way to 66, 67 with the full, being penalized. But the bottom line is you will ultimately be switched over to retirement, and then you'll go from Medicaid to Medicare, which would be really great.
Yeah, the thing is they told me it would be like my retirement would only be like $400 and something.
Well, then they'll probably give you a hybrid allowance. They do that a lot with SSI. Like if you're going to get a low SSDI amount or a low retirement amount, they'll usually incorporate some money from SSI to get you around $800 a month. But the big thing for you will be that you get Medicare at that point. I mean, do you have Medicaid right now? I'm assuming, right?
Right. I got Medicaid. She said something about I'd get like $50 more.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So bottom line is, bottom line is, you'll be a little bit better off, but you won't be massively better off. Yeah. Yeah. So indeed. Perfect. Well, good sir. Do you have any additional questions for me?
No, I appreciate it. I watch your videos all the time. You're awesome. I like you, the way that you tell the truth, and you're honest, and you're a caring person. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, good sir. Absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. I will catch you a little bit later, and don't be afraid to call in with any additional questions that you have. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, so real quick, guys, I saw retired Sergeant Melinda. Sergeant Melinda, call me right now. That way I can pick up the phone real quick. This is the phone number. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. I'm looking at all the colors and knowing them. What about, like pants and logo going down the leg? Yeah, I mean, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. You guys are in charge of marketing. You guys are in charge of the whole thing. I'll help you set it up. That's my gift to you. But then after that, you run it. So good luck with that, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work and it's tough, but that's okay. Retired Sergeant Melinda, give me a call. I'll wait like another minute and a half, 2 minutes. And then I'll call the next person, because I missed another person right here. So I'll call that person after, if you don't call in. So give me a call and let's see what we got. Sandra Bryant, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see, Laura C. Night, y'all. Excellent. Howdy. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for being part of it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the next person and basically go from there. Hold on real quick. And now we're calling the next person. See how we can help that person. Here we go. Okay. We're calling right now. And we're ringing. Are we in speaker? No, we're not on speaker. Let's see if we can get the person on the phone. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Howdy. Remember to use a fake name. Would you like me to answer a question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
Well, I don't really know. I'm actually, it's a good time to catch me because I'm out in a vacant parking lot, but.
Okay.
So, I don't know if I should be telling anybody this stuff, but I've been following you a long time, so I kind of have a little bit of faith into you.
Sure.
So, I don't know if you remember who I am, but I've asked you a lot of questions about college and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I recently fought for years to get my dad's retirement stuff.
Okay.
Because I've been on SSI since right before my 22nd birthday. And when he got retired in 2009, he claimed he didn't have any disabled children.
Okay.
So I never got my benefits, so I fought like hell to get them. Mm-hmm. And just a few days ago, was told on the phone at the 1-800 SSI number or whatever that I was approved, but they had to figure it out, like the payments and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I recently got off of probation that I had got off 3 years early, and it was like it was a very happy day for me, but it was actually a very scary day for me. And it's because my dad used to be our legislator and stuff like that. So I have always had the federal government after me. And I know this sounds so schizophrenia almost, like, but it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And lately, I have had them in my life like something fierce.
Okay.
And it's through men, and it's through like trying to get me to use drugs, and almost like they're setting me up and taking things of mine, like the guys that come around will take my lipstick, a pair of my underwear, perfume.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then I go to New York City because one of the employers that did this to me at my housing was an employer for these people. And he was coming in my home all hours of the day and night while I was there and not, using meth, getting undressed, pushing himself on me, using his own key. Yeah, so 3 weeks into this, because I just can't take it anymore, and I'm like scared to death. And I finally fell for it and used it with him. So I was like, no, we can't do this. So I went and told, I called somebody I have a lot of faith in, and that's my old probation officer. And I asked for her and the head of probation, Kyle, who are good people and are still good, friends, I'd like to call them, to come to my home, because I got a text from this employer, who is also a federal SCI, that said there's a pack of Marlboros under my doormat. And I'm like, Marlboros aren't going to fit under my doormat. And I had a little cleaning business on the side, so I went all the way back home to see what he was talking about. Well, I pull in my doorman, my door, and underneath it is Sudafed in a Ziploc little tiny baggie. And they're my own out of my medicine cabinet. I know that because I went and looked, and I only took one out of there, and there was 9 in those baggies. I don't know why he did that, but that's the day I went to the police. And then every day, like, he was telling me what I was wearing when I was getting in the shower. He knew every single thing. Like, how come you're not eating? Scary. Every time I would sign in to go to school on my online college account, he'd come to my door with the meth. In and just not let me. Anything that was positive, he didn't want me to do. And this guy was gaining complete power over me. Whether I let him or not, it was happening. And I would email the property manager, like, code words during the middle of the night, like, hey, he's here again. Can you please come? Or, stuff like that. And nobody would help me. And mind you, there's tons of cameras in our hallways, so I don't understand to this day why that's because I finally said something like I couldn't pay my rent, and she answered right away. And so anyways, moving forward, my probation officer had to call and say, hey, this is nuts. I want him charged. I want her to have a new key, and they didn't do that until just recently have given me a new key, and they hated it. Right. Well, probation officers also told me to go get this gadget that tells me if there's hearsay things, like it's called a JEPCO G4 pen, which is good to have for me anyways. I do a lot of Airbnbs for cleaning. And my house, my car is going off like crazy. Like, I've turned it into the police a million times. Every time I find or see something, I'm turning it in, but no cop isn't like following up with me. And so I drive to New York City because I live in, I don't know if you ever heard of Syracuse, but I live a little north of that in Watertown. And I was going to the Fordham building to the housing civil right unit. Okay. Because it's so invasive that and then nothing's being done that I just can't, I can't believe this, And the day the probation officers came when I had that cold medicine thing happen, that day I was saying, please don't think I'm crazy. And they're like, Kimberly, we've known you so long. We know you're not, and this is why I cried. I told them when I got off probation, because I was scared that the federal government would be in my life again. And they just didn't understand. And it didn't even take a day, and they were already doing stuff to me.
So is this a legal question about how you can go ahead and restrict that individual from getting to you, or
well,
how
yeah, well, I have a little more, and I just I'm just trying to give you like a big picture of this. And then, anyways, I go to New York City and I stay in hotels. I turned somebody in because there's full of bed bugs, whatever. Now I have a Habib family after me. And so the cops, like, instead of my insurance lady from Fidelis and I call this 311 number, get all these numbers, but it's a Friday. It's at the end of the day, everybody's closing. So she calls the police to ask them for some assistance because I tell her I don't feel safe. They come and I plead the fifth because they're asking me invasive questions. And I told them, look, you guys are making it way bad. People are looking at me. I'm already a person that people are watching, that this is scary, you know?
Right.
They're making fun of me. They're saying, oh, what do you want? Are you high? You know, just ridiculous stuff. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm not. I'm a social worker student in grad school, and I know this is unethical. Please stop. You know, and I guess I don't need your help, and I plead the fifth, blah, blah. All of a sudden, I'm getting slammed, and I mean, pounded with cuffs and brought to the ER, and I was left in a psych unit for 2 days on this medication, no clue what I was doing. They're laughing at me, no food. All of a sudden, I'm let go. So okay. I don't, you know, I got, my arms are so marked up from all this. It's not funny. I don't really know what way to move. You know, I'm just feeling set up.
So
I don't really know what the question is for you. I'm trying to maybe.
Yeah, I think what the question is, how do you get those people involved in harming you to be brought to justice if possible? How do you get some sort of justice for your life? So, I mean, are these, it sounds like these are federal players. Like you could file, you know, federal criminal complaints against them. You could call, you
right.
know.
That's what I don't know how. I'm ignorant when it comes to those, you know, I know it's probably like the biggest organization in the world. So
the police are problematic, right? You're having an issue where the police are not doing anything about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're definitely taking down the complaint, and they're interested, and they seem interested anyway.
Yeah.
But nobody follows up, or that man was never charged for going to my home umpteen times, you know, and it's on video. I mean,
how did he get in? I mean, why didn't you have something on the door to go ahead and restrict his access?
Well, now I have trespass signs and everything, but this guy was an employer for my place, so he had keys to everywhere.
Okay. All right.
And they say to me, if I bring it up, they say, we will not hear of this again. He has been fired, but the security officer for my building, I didn't even know he had. He offered to tell me he didn't know a damn thing about any of this, which is very odd to me. And that he said the guy on the paperwork, it says he has resigned.
Interesting.
It doesn't, yeah.
I mean, if it's federal players, I would go to the FBI because they're the ones who, you know, the FBI are kind of like the police for the federal government. You know, you have U.S. Marshals, which are also kind of like the police for the federal government. But I would go to the FBI.
They said he was talking to a federal marshal the day that my probation officers and I walked out to go to the police. They were escorting me to go. I said, oh my God, he's right there in front of us. And they were like, good, you know, because at this point I'm like scared to death. I still am. And
yeah,
he's sitting there nonchalantly, like hiding from the talking to this guy. You know, I said, "With this guy's got long hair and he's got a clipboard." And I go, Danielle, to my old probation officer, I said, "Who's that man he's sitting with?" She goes, "That, Kimberly, was a federal marshal. You were so right." And I'm like, "I told you."
Yeah, you don't usually see a federal marshal show up unless somebody makes like a, you know, some sort of aggressive, hostile remark towards a federal officer. Classic one I always see is when somebody will make a death threat against potentially like a judicial figure, like a judge or something.
Yeah.
That's when you tend to see those people show up. And, you know, it's kind of like I don't want to say like a more gear, more, you know, it's like a fancier version of a traditional county or state cop. But, you know, the bottom line is I've seen them. My clients have caused them to pop up. You know, I do get called from the Department of Justice and the Department of a couple of groups. FBI was involved with a couple of them. But the point is, I totally hear you. I would start with the FBI and start to make a list and timeline of the list of those individuals that were causing problems. And I would, you know, start to file formal complaints, civil complaints against those individuals. So you would need kind of like a criminal law attorney and a civil attorney. So.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, because this last time I was actually involved. I actually got arrested and convicted for making methamphetamine, whatever that is, methamphetamine.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, but
Sure.
it was because this guy I knew all my life used me because I'm such a nice, stupid person, and to get out of his own stuff, I guess. I really don't know, but I have turned my life around tenfold, 20-fold. And I don't know, I have a little side business. I do get paid some in cash, but I mean, I have taxes. I did claim some last year. I don't understand what they want from me, but it's certainly making me crazy. And I know some people don't want to hear me, or they just want to run from it, just like I do.
Well,
like when I don't know who to tell, if you know what I mean. I don't know who's good or bad.
Yeah, I hear you. This is what I would say. Go ahead and reach out to the FBI. That'll be your first mark. Go ahead and get assigned a particular agent. They have agents there that are women that specifically deal with these types of crimes that can help you, that are trained specifically how to, interact with you. There are individuals that are part of my line of work where I have recommended that they go and do that, and they do set them up with FBI agents who sit down with them and talk them through their options and things like that. So that would be kind of your first step to begin the process.
How would I start it out? And I'm going to give you a little donation for this too. By the way,
I mean, you don't have to donate.
I really appreciate this. This is really something I've needed, though. I've been not sleeping, literally lost a bunch of weight. You'd think I'm on drugs just because of the hypervigilance.
So, when I am really so what state are you in?
New York.
Okay, cool. Give me one. Oh, that's right. You said that.
I'm running and driving and staying other places, and just when really there's something on my car because.
So there's two numbers here. I'm going to give you both numbers. The direct one for New York specifically.
Hold on, I don't have anything to write it with.
Yeah, no worries.
Is there any way we could you could text it to me or screenshot it or something?
Well, what I'll do is I'll put it into the chat session of the group as the numbers. And keep in mind something too. I didn't bring my plug up for the computer, the laptop. So in about 6%, the session's going to end because my laptop's going to die. So I can always start up another one.
No, this was wonderful. I didn't know that I could call them. I mean, I don't even know I don't want to start it out like I'm crazy. I mean, I don't want to call. How do I approach it?
Well, I write it out first. The first thing I always do when I have something complex that's going on in my life, I write it out. And I don't try to be accurate. I just write out blobs. Here's a blob of a sentence that happened. Here's a bullet point. Here's a bullet point. Here's a bullet point. And then I take each bullet point and I write out some junk in it. I don't make it perfect. I just try to make a little small paragraph. Then I do that for each bullet point. And then I try to put the bullet points in a timeline order. Like this bullet point happened and then this bullet point happened.
My college even said to me, my college is like, Kimberly, we didn't want to tell you this, but we have to. In history, we've never had anyone account be hacked like yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
I mean, that's a big thing right there. And so we're doing code right now for homework and tests on the phone.
Sure.
So we can't even use my account.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, I would say this, your next step is basically to contact them, begin the process, get them working on your account. I'm going to actually end this session shortly and then go get a cord. I might do another live video after this. I'll kind of see how I feel. Because I have to wake up early and do some more staining because I'm at the farm right now, kind of working on prepping it.
That's cool.
But I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, okay?
Yes, and the FBI number I can just find online?
Yeah, I mean, I can give it to you right now if you want.
And I'll just put the phone.
The New York one is 212-384-1000.
Awesome, Walter. Thank you so much.
You got it. Let me give you the general one too. It is 202-3. Yep, 202.
Wait. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. 202-324-3000.
Awesome.
Perfect.
This is like a humble night, and I'll tell you what, I'm so happy to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, okay?
I may be able to sleep tonight, so let's
Good.
just say that.
Good. Excellent.
Well, happy staining. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, so here is all right. So guys, my computer is literally about to die in a few, I don't know, less than a minute. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and go get my charger cord. And the reason why is that it's got a webcam and then it's got this microphone. And this thing is giant. Like, look at the size of this thing, sucking up power. And I don't have it plugged in. And I thought it would last the 2 hours, but it didn't. So I will catch you a little bit later. I might do another video after this. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. We'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. All right. Bye-bye.